The moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. The first official look at Yellowstone 1944 has dropped, and trust me, this changes everything we thought we knew about the Dutton legacy. Because this time, it's not just about survival. It's about who deserves to carry the name forward when the world itself is at war. The first thing that stands out in the 1944 trailer is the shift in tone. This isn't just another chapter in the Dutton story. It feels heavier, darker, and far more personal. The world around the ranch is no longer just harsh, it's broken. With World War II raging in the background, you can feel that the stakes are no longer limited to Montana. Everything feels bigger, yet somehow more fragile. And right in the middle of it all, the Dutton family is once again fighting to protect what's theirs. But this time, the fight doesn't just come from outsiders, it's coming from within as well. The trailer hints at a generation caught between duty and identity. Young men leaving the ranch, not knowing if they'll ever return. And those who stay behind? They're left to carry responsibilities they were never truly ready for. That emotional weight is everywhere. You can feel it in the silence, in the tension, in the way every single moment feels like it's building towards something tragic. And then there's Spencer. Even without saying much, his presence in the first look feels powerful. Older, more worn down, but still carrying that same fire. The kind of man who's seen too much, yet refuses to let go of the land that defines him. But here's where things get interesting. The trailer doesn't position him as the center of the story anymore. Instead, it slowly shifts focus toward the next generation. And that tells us something important. 1944 is not just about continuing the legacy. It's about passing it on. But passing it on is never simple in the Yellowstone universe, is it? Because power always comes at a cost. And from what we see here, that cost might be higher than ever before. There's a clear sense that something is about to break within the family. Not just disagreements, but something deeper. Something that could reshape the entire future of the Dutton Ranch. And if there's one thing we've learned from previous stories, it's that when the Duttons are pushed to the edge, they don't back down. They fight harder. They get ruthless. And sometimes, they lose parts of themselves in the process. That's exactly the feeling this first look delivers. It's not loud. It's not overly dramatic. But it's intense in a way that slowly creeps under your skin. And by the time it ends, you're left with more questions than answers. Who will rise? Who will fall? And most importantly, who will truly earn the right to call that land their own? And just when you think you've understood the direction of Yellowstone 1944, the first look starts revealing something even deeper, the emotional core of the story. Because this isn't just about war, land, or legacy anymore, it's about the people who are forced to grow up too fast in a world that refuses to slow down for them. What really stands out is how the next generation of Duttons is being shaped. These aren't kids who have the luxury of choice. Every decision they make feels like it's tied to survival, to responsibility, and most importantly, to the expectations placed on their name. You can sense that pressure building throughout the trailer. The kind of pressure that doesn't just create strong characters, it creates broken ones too. And that's where things start to get really interesting. Because unlike previous generations, now let's talk about the outside threats, because they're definitely there. And they don't look small. The first look gives off the feeling that the enemies in 1944 are more calculated, more powerful, and far more dangerous than anything we've seen before. These aren't just people trying to take land. These are people who understand exactly how valuable that land is, especially during a time when the world is changing rapidly. And when you combine that with a divided or vulnerable Dutton family, it creates the perfect storm. A storm that could either forge the next generation into something unstoppable or tear them apart completely. And right in the middle of all this chaos, there's one question that keeps coming back again and again: who is truly ready to lead? Because leadership in the Dutton family has never just been about strength. It's about sacrifice. It's about making impossible choices. And sometimes, it's about becoming the very thing you once swore to fight against. The trailer hints that someone will have to step up sooner than expected. But whether they're ready for it, that's a completely different story. By the time this first look starts to settle in, one thing becomes very clear. Yellowstone 1944 is not just continuing the story, it's redefining it. The stakes feel higher. The emotions feel heavier. And the consequences? They feel permanent. This isn't a